Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 336. I forms a new kind of builder. Could call that AI forms, but anyway. From Zenatta. This is for January 3rd, 2025, our first show of the year. And I'm Brett Martin from Zenatta Consulting.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
Yeah. That's it. I'm telling you that I for AI,
trendsetter. Let's see if that one. Let's see if that one.
Hey, I was the guy when everybody was going back in the day. www.whatever.com. I said just do dub. No, it really wasn't.
Saves a lot of time. Saves a lot of time.
You save a lot of syllables in that. That wasn't me, but whoever came up with dub, I liked it, and that did catch on. So I could work. And I think I'll have to say it that way too. That same emphasis, that whole
makes
thing.
It work. Yeah.
Yeah, could make it work. So this was 336. Is that right? Is that what I said?
Yeah, 336. We are just.
So we're going to end the year at 387.
Yep.
Dang, it's a lot of shows, man. It's a lot of shows. I know. Did you have a great holiday?
Yeah, nice holiday. Did a little bit of traveling out to LA to see my wife's family, and now back in town. Definitely looking forward to a couple quiet weekends. How about you?
Yeah, me as well. We made the journey into California, got the whole family together for the first time about 10 years. So there were like 30 of us, 29, 30 of us. It was a big gathering, but we had a great time. But I'm done. I had to fly out to Florida for the family for Thanksgiving, and then a wedding, and then out of that and this. And so it'll be good not to travel, except you know what? I am traveling. I leave tomorrow to go to the Zoho Partner Summit in Chennai, India, which is
a big one.
Yeah, so it's 25 hours there with layovers. You're basically 21 to 23 hours in the air, depending on which direction you're going. And then you've got your layovers, and Yowza. It's going to be fun, though. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. So I'll be in the 50 hours plus in the air over the next week. Yeah, it'll be good. I'm in coach in the very back, little small seat, just sitting there. I'm just going to curl up in a ball.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, we have a lot to cover this show. So enough of you keep running on like this, Tyler. We're never going to get to the show. But before we do that, let's have a quick word from ZPortals, shall we?
This episode of the CRM Zen Show is brought to you by ZPortals. ZPortals is a must-have extension allowing you to effortlessly coordinate with clients and partners. We configure ZPortals all the time for our clients who are looking for the best portal solution. And boy, do we love how easy it is to customize and the flexibility to connect to multiple Zoho apps. So don't wait. Check out ZPortals today and be sure to mention Zenatta to get 10% off your first month.
All righty, jumping into the news. Before we do, though, actually, John Mark from ZPortals is going to also fly over there. So I guess I'll see him and we'll get to say hello. But you should check out ZPortals. We love it. Great application. Moving on, Tyler, I guess we have our Zoho knowledge sometimes has a hole or two in it. And Mr. Shea Diego, that's his handle. I'm going to go with, that's a cool name if it's your name too. Shea Diego. How you doing? Anyway, he went on to YouTube and saw our year in review where we said that Zoho Payroll doesn't file anything for you. You still have to file your own taxes. They give you the amount. Turns out we are wrong. Zoho Payroll does, in fact, file on your behalf with the local, state, and federal governments to ensure your taxes are calculated, withheld, and paid on time every time. So that's good to know. So I think the only
maker. Yeah.
Huge. I think the only piece they're missing that is if somehow I guess it's got to be various bank connections or, maybe they do already give you a file. I'm going to go meet with those payroll people while I'm out there and find out, because that'd be pretty big. If they can do that, that's That's
Yeah.
big.
You'd love to see that connect through a platform like Plaid or Forte, or one that's pretty universal, right? Just so that the maximum number of banks can be connected. But yeah, good call out there, Shay. Always good. If we do miss something, make sure to leave a comment down below, just like he did. You might be featured in a future show, because always want to make sure we're getting you guys the best information.
All right. And with that and our heads hung low, let's get into the news. So speaking of portals, if you just kind of need a basic portal, you want to pull some information out of CRM, it's really not even that basic anymore. They've done a lot of amazing things this last year and a half with the portal side of CRM as to what you can display and the permissions you can grant to it and those kind of things. Well, now instead of having someone log in with their email, which is standard, you send them an invite, you actually can let them log in using their, you can invite them using their mobile phone numbers, and they can log in using their mobile number and do one-time authenticate. Anyway, pretty good stuff.
Yeah, really nice. I mean, not everybody really uses email. And so sometimes for like a B2C type of portal, you might make sense to do this via SMS. Right now, it looks like the initial release is only going to be supported for companies registered in India. I would assume that will change over time. But so yeah, V1 of this is coming directly to India. And then the rest of the world, I will assume, will follow from there.
We'll get it shortly. Yes, they will. So, excuse me, good stuff there, Zoho, and moving along. I like this a lot, Tyler. In CRM, you can now combine related grouping values into category in CRM analytical components. So Zoho Reports is excellent inside CRM, sometimes called analytics, sometimes called reports, but depending on what version you have. But oftentimes we need to move things over to analytics just to get some basic type of reporting. And what this is basically grouping. So you now can have a pick list and you can now set your groups. And I think if you're watching us on YouTube and not listening, this screen kind of breaks it down for you. So before, you could only say, hey, show me my revenue by country, and now you can say show me by continent or region. But if you think about this, the applications for this are just huge as to how you can now start bundling things up. So nice enhancement.
Yeah, big one that I think a lot of people want to use is grouping up different types of lead sources for a lot of these reports. Right? So like organizing them in inbound and outbound, paid or unpaid. Right, those are kind of common categories. So or even grouping on numerical values like low, medium, and high value deals, rather than just creating if you think about like making a bar chart of your deal values and how many accounts are in each. Well, if you use currency, a lot of them are going to be 1, because I quoted Brett 50,000, I quoted someone else 55, right? But so now you can say, hey, 50 to 100 is medium. And so group everything into those. It's definitely a nice one. It's configured in the reports themselves, so it's not like a back-end feature, but really nice to see. And again, like you're mentioning, there are a lot of cases previously where the only reason that we would be doing a certain report in analytics is to do this grouping. So really nice, easy to set up. I'd imagine lots of people will be happy to see this.
Wow. Really good stuff. So major or notable, would you say? Notable?
I'd say like a strong notable on that one.
Strong notable. Very good. All right. We basically categorize articles as just general news. This is notable. This is major. And that helps Freddie at the end of the year compile that massive year in review segment. So good. There we go. I think we have a couple notables on here as well. This is super cool. So if you are using Zoho Forms, you now can use to create the form for you. So you basically give it a prompt and you say, this is what I want. And then it generates what it thinks the form should be. I don't know. That could save a lot of time. I mean, it might not be perfect, but you give it a prompt, I've got a trade show and I want a trade show registration form. boom, gives it to you. So,
Yeah.
this,
I could see this being pretty useful for like the version 1 of a form. Like realistically, the more that you use a form, you're going to learn more things that you want to know, right? So like we have a form on our website. We've been using it for a long time. We're regularly adding or removing fields from it based on things that we realize like, hey, you know what? We don't really care about getting this value, so we're going to replace it. But yeah, I could see this being really useful for like a new department, a new product, or like a new process, because it might throw in some fields that you didn't think of. The one thing that I would definitely recommend for users as you use this, or really any type of AI tool, is the more that you can give it context about what you're doing, the better the outcome's going to be. So if I were going to create a form on my website for like a contact us, I wouldn't just say, make me a contact us form. I would say, my company's name is Zenatta. We provide consulting services for Zoho. Make me a contact us form, because it might throw in different values or make different assumptions about what's important to me based on a little bit more of that contextual info.
Yeah, but very, very, very good. And I think fantastic use of don't you?
Yeah. I could see a use in the future in CRM, like make me a module, right, for this particular thing, and it can kind of get some of that done for you.
Yeah, I like it. All right, moving on. Hey, your favorite application, Tyler, Zoho Analytics has got a December 2024 update. I kind of scrolled through the very, very first thing here. I thought was really cool. You can now do Zoho Writer integration with Zoho Analytics. Seems to me like that this is a highly useful integration across the board here. But as you kind of went through this, anything stick out for you?
Yeah, I mean, so a couple new databases that they're going to support. Microsoft Access, obviously most people have moved off of that, but it is still around, so nice to have a connector. I like the writer chart. They've built out some more improvements for Sankey charts. These, if you're watching us on YouTube, are kind of like those flows between groupings. I personally am not the biggest Sankey chart guy, but I know a lot of people are, so nice to see those. Really the big one here is like the tracing of the flow. So if you were to click on a particular data point, it's easier to highlight and filter out the things that aren't a part of that, just so that you can follow a process a little easier. Couple new modules and fields that are going to be syncing from existing applications. So Salesforce has got some additional data around account roles and opportunity data. Zoho Books is pulling in MRR. Now, I would assume probably coming from your subscriptions or your recurring invoices. I will say that's actually kind of a nice one, because let's say you sell subscriptions as monthly, quarterly, or annually. You'll have to set up some type of formula to calculate MRR, and it's going to be different for each of those. So it's always been doable, right? Like if yearly divide by 12, if quarterly divide by 4, or divide by 3. But not having to do that is a nice time saver. They're also now added Code Studio, which I'm going to need to dig in more really to get deeper on this one. This is like a high level usage of machine learning. So not quite AI, but machine learning for data processing and evaluation outside of like your standard reporting needs. And then just some improvements for tabular view for wrapping and clipping text. It's always been a little funky if you have a tabular report, the way that it will handle like a long column name. So it seems like they're just normalizing that so that it looks similar to what's already going on in pivot tables and summaries.
Very nice. Nice stuff. I've never been a fan of Sankey charts either. I feel like they should be called skanky charts. Just move that K in front of it.
Yeah,
it's just a
I would say
chart.
the one time I'll see them used where I like them is when they're used to break down like a large company's financials. Here's where all their revenue comes from, and here's where all the costs goes. It can be like a nice little visual indicator of just the, at a glance, the size of those. The one we're showing here on YouTube, though, if you're watching us, like, I would not do this in a Sankey chart. This is a bit messy. But nonetheless, for those who like them, they'll get better.
I just don't even know what I'm looking at. All right, moving on with the news. You can now This is a title of a blog that is clearly SEO optimizer. Set organizational level access to knowledge base and manage duplicate article permanent links with date appended to them. Basically, now you can you've got a little more granularity as how you are setting your permissions. You've got admin access, which is brand new, so everybody can see it. Then you can get you can go down to more organizational levels as well. And if there is a duplicate, if it sees that you actually have a duplicate record, it's going to append it with a date. So that's kind of it, but nice little
Yeah, just a
Zoho
minor
desk.
one. Really, I think the thing that's nice here is just that admin access permission setting for particular users. Just so that, like, if you have a manager, you don't need to make them admin of everything. You can just say, hey, you're allowed to do what you need to do at knowledge base, but you don't need admin anywhere else.
Yep. All right, and moving on. Hey, Zoho Landing Pages is now part of Zoho Marketing Plus. So more of an announcement here than anything else. But it actually, I think, makes a lot of sense for landing pages to be in Marketing Plus. Because you can just easily build your landing pages and tie them in. So shout out to Zoho for kind of giving that away, throwing it right on in. So I think it's
why not?
Yeah,
why not?
Very, 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 very nice. And continuing to move on with the news. Small update, but very notable. If you are a total Zoho ecosystem user and you are using Zoho Recruit and you're using Zoho People, you now, once you hire someone, can push those details from Recruit to People, which is pretty cool because before you had to kind of go and manually copy everything over and set them up inside Zoho People. So now you can just go ahead and, at least the basic information is going to come over, which is all you really have inside of Recruit anyway. So pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely a slick one. I thought this was already there, but I guess I was mistaken. Maybe it's a couple more pieces of data, but yeah, so let's actually push over all the data from the offers module. So make sure if this is important to you, use Recruit with that offers module. Like we internally actually don't. We just do it all through the candidate record. So if this is important, just make sure that you're using that module so that the data will be able to sync to the, basically goes from the offers to the onboarding from Recruit to People.
Yeah. And we say this every single time on almost every show, but this is one that really, really applies. We only have a limited amount of time on this show, so we kind of filter through the articles we're going to do. And this week, my goodness, there were probably 20 of Zoho's year in reviews that were put in there where it's just like, here's everything that happened in this product last year. So if you want to go read a nice summary, we'll have them all the links will be in the newsletter. You don't have to dig around. You don't have to try to find them. But there's a lot of stories that we left out of this week's show for time constraints, plus kind of going through it. Plus, if you really want to know what happened with the Zoho product, you just watch Zenatta's year-end review where we tell you what happened throughout the year with every single product. But anyway, it's much more detailed, much more granular. They kind of go through every single aspect of it, so well worth checking out. And with that, Tyler, let's head over to our code share of the week. Because we did a year in review last year and the ZenMe Awards last week, I should say, we skipped kind of going through our code share, but our team didn't stop. They kept going. So basically a week ago, Renato had a very nice post where he is how to track lead conversion in Zoho CRM using the timeline API. So again, another little thing for reporting, right, Tyler?
Yeah, and this is actually a really nice one. This is a really nice one. What a lot of people want out of the CRM is to have an understanding of how long certain things take. So being able to know, like, let's say you've got a lead, you're going to convert it to a deal, and then later that deal will become closed won. You might want to look at your pipeline and go from the date this was converted, how long did it take us to move this deal to closed won? The problem is that value kind of goes away, and you could use the deal created date, but in not all business processes does that actually work. So like in our flow, I convert a lead. Then when they show up for a meeting, I create a deal, right? So there's like a universal way to say, hey, let's say when a deal is created, run a script that looks at the timeline and stamps that conversion date into a field just to make it a little bit easier to report on. If you're using Zoho Analytics, you might not need this because you'll still have that leads data and you can do some SQL tables and kind of join it up. But if you're not, or if you just want to create like a simple report in CRM for this, doing a quick little date stamp will be a good way to do that.
Yep. Very nice. And then kind of a PSA, guess what I found? One of our users over on Club Zenatta, Mohammed Chowdhury, basically found a little AI documentation bug, I guess is the best word for it, Tyler.
Yeah, so essentially Mohammed was working on a widget, so pretty custom solution inside of Zoho Recruit. To do that, he was using a CDN link that's provided by Zoho. It's just something that like packages up your JavaScript. Essentially, he was having issues using that, reached out to support, didn't quite get an answer right away. So as a true coder, and shout out to you for this, Mohammed, he started guessing. He's like, well, let me just start changing some stuff and see if I can figure out what's wrong. And really what it came down to is just the URL provided in the documentation for the Recruit widget builder was incorrect. So if you're watching us on YouTube, they have theirs ending in recruithelper.js. It's supposed to be zrecruithelper.js. So again, big shout out to you, Mohammed. He just put a Z in front of it. When in doubt, put a Z and Z for Zoho, right? Why not? And then that got it working. And so now he's back in action, moving forward with this project. So yeah, a true coder. Sometimes you just got to bang your head on it and see if you can break something to fix something.
Yes. All right. And then Alex has given us his Zoho Creator HTML snippet and standalone function for dynamic pages. So formatting HTML pages inside Zoho Creator?
Yep, exactly. We do this a lot for custom portals. So basically, you land on a page, an API call grabs some data, and then we wrap it up in formatting and show it to whoever just logged into that page. This is really just a nice little standalone function. So 2 steps. 1, you would create a standalone function with the code here that's on the bottom half of this, just essentially copy paste it in. And then later you can invoke that function in your actual HTML. Really what this does is it just gives you a nice example of how to wrap some of those fields in the formatting. If you need different fields, you'll need to make some changes to this. So here he's giving a simple example like, hey, give me a quick table with full name, email, phone, and address. For you, you might need something more complicated, but all you'll really need to do, and again, just do some R&D, rip off and duplicate. Just look at the formatting here and you could swap in different fields pretty easily to create a table.
Very, very nice. All righty. And with that, let's head over to Zenatta.com and see what's new over there. Well, Tyler, every year we go ahead and we do our little year in review, what happened with us over the course of the year. And we had quite a big year this year. So if you want to read all about how absolutely fantastic and amazing we are over here at Zenatta, well, this is what you want to read. We were really honored this year. We went to Zoholics and we were given not only Partner of the Year, but Content Excellence of the Year. Both those awards, fantastic honor. I want to thank Zoho for that. Our team continued to expand. I think we're missing 4 people in this picture because I think we're at 29 now. Is that right? 30?
Yeah, 20 or 29.
Something like that. Yeah. So we always have throw our little Christmas picture in here. Man, did you guys help us grow this year. We ended up with 174 brand new clients. Thank you to each and every one of you. Club Zenatta had 1,200 new members. YouTube, we did over 100 new videos. We had over 7,000 new subscribers. We crossed the 20,000 mark. I think we're almost 22 now, something like that, getting up there. And we had the 300th episode of the CRM Zen Show, and things just keep chugging along. In the marketplace, we dropped our CRM Zenatta health check application. More good things coming to that. Our Google address autocomplete. We made enhancements to our team training courses. We added a marketing team training course. We're revamping Desk, we're revamping CRM, making some changes there as well. And so just want to give a big shout out to everyone here at Zenatta and all of our clients and customers and supporters and everybody who follows us on YouTube, is in Club Z, across the board. Thank you so much for making this an absolutely amazing year.
Yeah, thank everybody, and looking forward to another great year, giving everybody useful content. Yeah, we love what we do, and you guys make that possible.
You know, Tyler, I thought I'd take us on a little journey here, because as I was reading this, I went back and started in 2019, where we wrote the very first one. If you don't read these, it's ZENATTA. We basically, every heading spells out Zenatta as you go through. But man, 2019, well, there's the team. There we were. So this is us at the developers conference in 2019, and me with my old Volkswagen sitting here with Mr. Sridhar Bimbo at the old Zoho corporate headquarters. But we had, that was kind of, we were kicking it off. We were a couple years old at that point in time, but really just starting to grow. And, you know, the core team has stayed the core team. So if you check that out, 2020 started to grow a little bit. 2021, growing a little more. 2022, growing a little more. 2023, growing a little more. And then taking us up to this year. So it was one heck of a ride, I gotta say. A lot of fun. And again, thank you to everybody for your support. We couldn't have done it without you guys. And Tyler, we've been lucky. We've probably built one of the most amazing team of Zoho consultants and developers and marketing people. And it's just been, I can't say we're lucky. We're very picky, wouldn't you say? Oh, very gotten more picky as we've gone along. But anyway. And with that, let's go to our question of the week. Zaz, I miss thee. Hey, we got a really interesting question from John Bloomfield. Basically, they started using Zoho in 2008, and they used to use Act and CRM and Outlook before that to schedule tasks, or they do use Act. They did use it anyway. And basically, they would schedule tasks and events, and if they exceeded on tasks, like you wanted to set a threshold, I don't want to have more than 3 hours of tasks in a day, it would notify you and say, hey, you've already exceeded it. You could change it. I'm kind of summarizing this up. We actually summarized what John wrote. Hopefully we got this right, John. And John is asking, is there any way of doing that natively inside Zoho in projects or CRM? In kind of going through it, Tyler and I were discussing. So not really, nothing natively. We talked about you could probably do something. I think the easiest path might be to do something in CRM where you're logging the task and you're logging the time, and then you've got a function that's reading the number of tasks, reading the time, and maybe throwing up an alert if you exceed that time.
Yeah. The challenge there will be none of these are going to work great through like an Outlook or Gmail integration, but there are things you could do like once a task is created to adjust it automatically. So two ways of thinking about it. So inside of projects, if you have tasks and work hours assigned, when you add a task there and you pick a date, it'll actually color code them based on like your expected availability. So that could be like not as slick, but one way to do it. If you wanted to recreate it kind of as you have it now, where I create a task and then it automatically like backdates itself. So like I work 7 hours a day, I have 14 hours of tasks open, so it's going to put it on the third day. That would need to be some type of custom function. You would also need to define like how many work days are expected or how many work hours on tasks we expect. And and the number of expected hours for any task as it gets created. There's actually something that we do in our portal. So like if I'm on a client call and I'm going to assign a task to Bruno, when I put in how long I think it's going to take and who's it going to go to, it'll backdate the start date. So on the call, I can be like, hey, it might be a Wednesday. And I'm like looking at Bruno's calendar. He's going to be free on Monday to pick this up. Or I could give it to Andrew and he might be able to get to it on Friday. So there are those different things that you can do, but nothing native that's going to perfectly recreate what you used to have.
Yeah. So probably not the answer you were looking for, John, but it's the best we got. And with that, let's head over to YouTube. We don't really have a tip of the week this week. The holidays kind of got in our way, but promise you next week we'll have our tip of the week. We'll have our implementation. We will be back on track. But if you haven't, please subscribe to us. We would love it if you would do that. Hit the like button. All of our videos are here. You kind of search our channel. You will find what you are looking for most likely in the world of Zoho. And if you can't find it, please drop us a comment and say, man, I really, really, really would like a video on this. And we will do that for you as well. And Tyler, that's going to wrap our first show of 2025. That's it.
Off to a rousing start. Looking forward to a great year for everybody. And one of the main things I'm kind of looking for this year in my Christmas wish list is more feedback from the viewers. So if there's anything you want us to cover, any topics, any applications where you feel like, hey, this one's getting left behind, make sure to leave a comment for us. We read all of them. We don't have time to respond to every single one, but I promise you, I read every single one. So make sure to leave those down below. Some viewers probably noticed in the last quarter of this year, some of my videos were just responses to comments. And they're great because sometimes I just miss a topic and someone leaves a comment and I'm like, I'll go and I'll look and say, oh, I'll get them the link for the video I made on that. And I realize we never did. That's how I made the custom modules one. Like that's how we did some of the desk macro ones is, when we get those questions, we love to make videos for you guys. So make sure to ask for what you'd like to see because we'll do it.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much again for joining us. And as always, we do this for love, but we also do it for money. And if you're like, man, I'm struggling with Zoho. I need to hire somebody to help me get my Zoho implementation up and running. Well, you should head over to Zenatta.com and click on book a meeting, and you'll be talking to one of us in no time at all. And I'm fairly confident we'll be able to help you.
Yeah, and over on the website is also where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered straight to your inbox every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And last but not least, we always appreciate when you like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
The CRM Zen Show was produced by Podcaster Zen.
Happy New Year, everybody.